Namaste students, welcome to your social science geography class. Today we will be moving to the next chapter, that is chapter 3, the Indian climate. The main learning objectives of this chapter is the climatic type of India and what are the factors affecting it. Secondly, the climatic seasons and their characteristics and the distribution of rainfall in India. As we all know, children, India has a tropical monsoon type of climate. This is because the greater part of India lies on the tropical zone, and its climate is greatly influenced by the monsoon winds. So now let us know about some of the terminology. Climate. What do we mean by climate? The general or average weather conditions of certain region, including the temperature, rainfall and wind. Then climatography. The science of the description of climate. Climatography, we call it as the climate. The science that studies about the climate or climatic condition, we call it as a climatologists. Then we are having the stereotype climate, the climate of the inside of the building or airliner or a spaceship as distinguished from the outside. So, the study of the geographical distribution of rainfall by annual total, we call that as the hydrographical. Then we are having the meteorology. Meteorology means the science that studies the climate and weather variations. Then we are having the microclimatology. Microclimatology is the study of minute gradations in climate that are due to the nature of the terrain. The study of microclimates or climates of limited areas as house or communities. Then the microclimatologists. So this is the branch of biology, children. See, even in geography we study about biology also, where it comes. So this is a branch of biology. Then we can see that there is a very close relationship. There is a very close relationship between between geography and biology also. It studies about the different variations in climate and periodic biological phenomena as the migration of birds or flowering of plants. So that we call as a climatologist. So what does monsoon? When we are studying about climate, we tell that it as also monsoon. What do we mean by the word monsoon in geography? A monsoon, from which language it come? In which language do we use monsoon, Mosam? What are the different names do we call? In Hindi we call it as a monsoon. Mosam. Then what do we tell in Kannada? Just find out in your languages, in your mother tongue language, what do they call the word monsoon? So a monsoon is a seasonal change in the direction of the prevailing or the strongest winds of a region. Monsoon causes wet and dry seasons throughout much of the tropics. Monsoons are most often associated with the Indian Ocean, and they always blow from cold to warm regions. Then I told India is having a tropical monsoon climate. So what do we mean by tropical climate? A tropical climate is one of the 5 major climate groups in the Köppen climate classification. Tropical climates are characterized by monthly average temperatures of 18 degrees centigrade, that is 64.4 degrees Fahrenheit, or higher year round, and features of hot temperatures. Annual precipitation is often abundant in tropical climates and shows a seasonal rhythm to varying degrees. There are normally only 2 seasons in tropical climate, a wet season and a dry season. The annual temperature range in tropical climate is normally very small. Sunlight is intense. There are three basic types of tropical climates within the tropical climate group, children. Tropical rainforest climate, we call it as AF. Tropical monsoon climate, we call it as AM. And tropical wet and dry or the savanna climate, we call it as AW or AS, which are classified and distinguished by the annual precipitation by the annual precipitation level of the driest month of those regions. So, what is the meaning of tropical monsoon then? We saw about the meaning of monsoon, we studied about the climate, tropical climate, then what is tropical monsoon? Tropical monsoon climate is the intermediate climate between the wet tropical rainforest climate and the drier. In essence, a tropical monsoon climate tends to either see more rainfall than a tropical savanna climate or have less pronounced dry seasons. So, India, when we tell it, India has a tropical monsoon climate because most of the India, what happens, it is lying in the tropical belt and her climate is influenced by the monsoon winds which mainly blow in tropics, that is 200 north and 200 south. The high temperature during summers and dry winters are some of the important characteristics of the monsoon types of climates. Monsoon, let us see the meaning in it. See, monsoon, here also we get a language, the pronunciation, isn't it? How do you pronounce it? And it is traditionally a season reversing wide accompanied by corresponding changes in precipitation, but is now used to describe seasonal changes in atmospheric circulation and precipitation associated with the asymmetric heating of land and sea. The term monsoon is used to refer to the rainy phase of a seasonally changing pattern. Technically, there is also a dry phase. The term is sometimes incorrectly used for locally heavy but short term rains. When we are having this type of climate, what might be the main factors for the climate which influences our country's climate? So, the elements that affects the climate are the latitude, altitude and pressure and wind distance from the sea. Ocean currents are and relief features. Latitude and altitude. The most important climatic control is latitude. Latitude, what happens, children? It affects the temperature of a place. The places situated at higher altitudes which are far from equator receives less sunlight, and places where are located towards the equator which is 00 latitude receives more sunlight and hotter than the places located at higher latitudes. Sunlight also affects the precipitation of rainfall. Thus, latitudinal position of a region, it decides what type of climate does that place have. Continentally is defined as, that is distance from the sea, what we tell it as continentally, is defined as the measure of difference between the continental and the marina climates. As the distance from the sea increases, this moderating effect decreases and people face extreme weather conditions. Winds and air masses originate over ocean, move onshore to the mainland and affect the climate. Now we will move on to the climatic seasons. The climate of India is divided into 4 types. That is, we are having the summer season, The summer season, it is from March to May, and then we are having the winter season, it is from December to February. Then we are having the rainy season, which is from June to mid of September, and the retreating monsoon season, which we are having from mid September to November. So it has been divided into four. So now let us move on to, we can see here the summer season, where and all we are having the mountains, hill stations, national park. Winter, November, February, monsoon. So these are all the places where we are having the seasons in India. So seasons in India. India is a big tropical country, and it is famous for its and our country is famous for its diverse climatic features. So season, when I told just now what I told, the months of January and February, summer, the months of March to May, monsoon or rainy season, the months of June to September, that is then we are having the retreating monsoon, the months of October to December. So the earth has a season because, why does the earth has season? Because its axis is tilted. You can see it is tilted. Earth rotates on its own axis as its orbit the sun, but the axis is always points in the same direction. So December, let us see, summer in December, the summer south of the equator, winter north of the equator, the sun shines directly on the southern hemisphere and indirectly on the northern hemisphere. Then in uh, March, it falls to the south. It falls to the south of the equator, where the spring in the north of the equator, and the sun shines equally on the southern and the northern hemisphere in March. In June, the winter, it is to the south of the equator. See, the winter is towards the south of the equator. The sun shines directly on the northern hemisphere and indirectly on the southern hemisphere. September, that is the spring south of the equator, to fall to the north of the equator, and the sun shines equally to the southern and the northern hemisphere. So now let us move on. Now let us move on to the winter season. During this season, children, the rays of the sun falls vertically on the southern hemisphere. During this time, India gets the during this time the India gets the oblique rays of the sun. So the temperature and the humidity are low is low, and the sky is very clear. And during this period, it is very, in the north it is cool, and in the south it is warm. So the coldest month is January, and the hilly areas of Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh have the lowest temperature. And the lowest recorded temperature in India is Dras near Kargil, which has been -4 degrees Celsius. Dew and fogs are common, which are found in this period. This is the most important characteristics. And there is, during this period also we are having heavy rainfalls in the mountain areas, and the annual rainfall during the winter season is 2%. Now we will move on to the next, that is the summer season. The summer season, the sun rays fall vertically over the northern hemisphere. Hence the temperature is high in India. It is the characteristics is, it is hot, dry and sultry. So Ganganagar in Rajasthan has the highest recorded temperature of 49.4 degrees Celsius. We also get convectional rainfall during this time in some parts of the country. So the summer, in the summer when we get the rainfall, we call it as convectional rainfall. It is called by different names in different states. We call mango showers in Kerala, coffee blossoms in Karnataka, Kala Baisakhi in Bengal, and Andis in Uttar Pradesh. Each one has its own specialty. The name which has been given, Andi is an Hindi word. Andis is wind. So they call it as Andis. And Kala Baisakhi in the West Bengal. So the more importance is given to the agriculture there. Then Kerala, we call it as mango showers because during this season the mango grows in this region. And in Karnataka, what is Karnataka famous for? We have coffee. So during this period, the coffee blossom, that is why we call it as coffee blossom in Karnataka. The annual rainfall during the summer season, children, in our country, it is only 10%. Next, we will move on to the rainy season. The rainy season, it is also known, the rainy season we also call it as the we also call it as the southwest. I told convectional rainfall, isn't it? Yeah, we can see here when the sun heats the ground, the warmer the air what happens, it cools and condenses with height, it goes up, and the cumulonimbus clouds are formed and water droplets accumulate and fall as rain due to the gravity during the summer season. See, we are having here convectional rainfall occurs when the energy of the sun heats the surface of the earth, causing water to water vapor through evaporation. And also when the land heats up, it warms the air above it. This causes air to expand and rise. As the air rises, it cools and condenses. Then we will move on to the rainy season. The rainy season, it is also known as the southwest monsoon season. The temperature rises when when the summer season comes to an end. So a low pressure area is developed over central India. On the other hand, in Indian Ocean there is a high pressure. The moisture laden winds blow from the southwest towards India. During this time, India gets 75% of rainfall during this period. So India monsoon seasons runs from June to September. The weather pattern is caused by differing the temperature that trends over the land and the ocean. Rain can come on suddenly, and hours of rain are common most of the days. Mumbai and Kolkata receive the most rain of Indian cities during the monsoons. You can see this. And the southwest monsoon winds blows. Southwest monsoon, you can see here, children. This 12th is normal. See, by 30th June when it comes to Delhi, and then Delhi. See, these are the southwest monsoons, how it goes. And this is the actual, this one, along with the graphics what we are having. And now let us move on to there are two branches, children, of the southwest monsoon. One is we are having the Arabian branch, and another one is the Bay of Bengal branch. So the Arabian branch, what happens, children? The Arabian sea branch, it strikes the western Ghats and causes heavy rainfall to the western side of the Western Ghats. So when it goes towards from the Western Ghat, when it goes towards the west part to the eastern part of Western Ghats, what happened? The rain starts decreasing, and this area we call it as rain shadow area. And we are also having the Bay of Bengal. We are also having the Bay of Bengal branch. With this also causes heavy rainfall when it hits Meghalaya and Assam. The heaviest place it occurs is in Meghalaya, the Mayanswar, and the rainfall decreases when it goes towards the northwest. When it comes like that, the rainfall decreases. Now we will move on to the retreating monsoon season. When I tell rain shadow area, you can see that the moist arising precipitation, this is when it reaches, this is the Western Ghats to the west. When it goes towards the east, it becomes the rain shadow area. The rain starts decreasing and it becomes dry and descending air. You can see here. First ocean we are having here. So first one, moist warm air blows on shore. After this one, as the air rises over the mountains, it cools, causing the moisture of condense and fall as precipitation, and slowly the dry area descends leapward. See, rainy windward slope this is, and this is the dry leeward slope this is. So it warms and it promotes evaporation. So like this, this we call it as the rain shadow area. Southwest monsoon. So now the retreating monsoons. So in the early October, children, in the early October, due to the decrease of temperature, low pressure area is gradually replaced by the high pressure over the land mass. So a low pressure area is developed in the Bay of Bengal. When it is developed, as a result of that, the southwest monsoon starts retreating and blow from northeast. From northeast. Hence, this season is called as northeast monsoon season. It is seasonal of unsettled weather condition. During this period, India receives 13% of rainfall, of annual rainfall. Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Orissa gets the heavy rainfall during this season. We are also having the tropical cyclone which frequently occurs in Bay of Bengal and also causes damages along the east coast. You can see that how it goes. So this is retreating monsoon season. Now we will move on to the retreating monsoon season. We can see here how it goes. Gradually southwards movement. See, retreating from here it goes and from northeast also it comes. So this we call it as retreating monsoon winds. So during October, November it occurs with the apparent movement, the sun towards the south, the monsoon, you can see here children, the monsoon through the low pressure through the northern plains, it becomes weaker. This is gradually replaced by the high pressure. The months of October to November form a period of transition from hot rainy season to dry winter conditions. The retreat of the monsoon is marked by clear skies and rise in the rise in the temperature and humidity. The weather becomes rather oppressive during the day. This is commonly known as October heat. The low pressure area conditions over the northwestern India gets transferred to the Bay of Bengal by early November, due to which the state with its neighboring states are often struck by the cyclones. You can see here the peak of tropical cyclone twice a year. First peak will be in April, June, and second wave peak will be in September and October. So retreating monsoon, dry monsoon where it comes, and here we are having wet because we are having the ocean here. Now we will move on to the distribution of rainfall. The average rainfall in India is 125 centimeters. The southwest monsoon constituted 75% of the rainfall, and 10% by its pre-monsoon cyclonic rainfall, 13% by the northeast monsoon. So the western coast and the western coast and the northeastern India receives about 400 centimeters of rainfall. However, it is less than 60 centimeters in Rajasthan adjoining the Gujarat, Haryana and Punjab. So the rainfall area, when we tell the on the basis of amount of rainfall, it is being divided into three types. Areas with low rainfall where you will get less than 50 centimeters. It includes the western of Kutch, Thar Desert and Rajasthan adjoining the western Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat and north of Jaskar range where we are having the rain shadow area of the Western Ghats. Rohili in Jaisalmer of Rajasthan receives the least rainfall of 8.3 centimeters, and this is the driest place in India. Secondly, we are having the areas with medium rainfall. See, these are the crowns where we are having the medium where we get 50 to 100 centimeters of rainfall. It is a long belt which extends from northern Punjab to the Cape of Kanyakumari. It is the broader in the north and narrower in the peninsular India between the western Ghats and the eastern Ghats. And the areas with a very low rainfall, heavy rainfall is 100 to 250 centimeters. It is found in four separate belts. One is a narrow belt in Western Ghats and a belt from Jammu Hills through Himachal Pradesh, North Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. Thirdly, northeastern India, Mysore located in the zone gets the heaviest rainfall. The west coast, the west coast and the western side of the Western Ghats. So distribution, what and all I told, I have written it here children. In this you have to copy down, and these are the terminologies what I gave you in the sorry, second and third slide. So you should know about this. So with this we finish up with the third chapter, the Indian climate. Thank you children.